Hello everybody, my name is Lucas Smith. I am 20 years old and I am the co-owner of Evansview Farms. Evansview Farms is a boar and meat goat operation that I own with my family here in Jackson County, West Virginia. We specialize in breeding and raising ABGA breeding goats as well as market meat goats for showmen across our region and across our state. Today I'm going to be essentially just going over goat farming 101 and what it's like to live on a goat farm, and just some tips and tricks you guys can pick up if you are thinking about raising meat goats in the future. Or I think this video will also be helpful if you decide to go on another side of the industry and say you don't want to raise meat goats but you want to raise other kinds of goats. I think that this video will be helpful. So without going any further, we will start at the barn and we will start from there. I wanted to start off this video by giving you guys a glimpse of our farm. So this is our front pasture and the front of our barn. We do have a back pasture and we rotate the goats between the two to help with parasite management. So once the goats eat this pasture down, we will allow them into the back pasture, and they've basically done that already. So here in a couple weeks, maybe even a couple days, we will let the goats back into the back pasture and allow this field time to grow. So we did start off with about a 12 by 16 foot barn. Obviously over time our herd grew, so our facilities had to grow with it, and this barn has been nothing but good for us. I just wanted to go over a little bit about getting our does ready for breeding season. So breeding season for us starts around August 5th, and the goats are pregnant for 150 days, and that's give or take about 5 months, and our does will kid out hopefully after January 1st. But before we get into kidding season, I wanted to talk a little bit about getting them ready for breeding season. So for breeding season, we like our does to be a little bit on the moderately covered side. I have Annie here with me because she is kind of the poster child for that. She is not too fat, she's not too skinny, and she's got kind of the perfect amount of coverage to her when it comes to fat coverage. Having a skinny or fat goat can increase the risk of that goat developing pregnancy toxemia, which can be very deadly, and that usually occurs in that last trimester of pregnancy, usually about 2 to 3 weeks, because most of the fetal growth occurs in that last 2 to 3 weeks. So it's really important to keep those does moderately covered in those first 2 trimesters. Obviously, over time, we will have to increase the rations because those babies are growing and those does need more nutrients to feed themselves and those babies. So we talked a little bit about getting our does ready for breeding season, but I wanted to talk a little bit about getting our farm ready for kidding season. So like I said, our kidding season starts around January 1st. And obviously here in West Virginia, it can get pretty cold in January. So we like to use these heat lamps. These are called the Premier heat lamps. I think they are around $35. And I've just found that these are a really safe option compared to the metal ones that you can get at your local feed store or your local farm equipment store. What we like to do is we put a steeple in the board about as high as we like to take it, and then we use this clamp to clip it to that steeple, and we run this wire outside of the board to where the goats can't get it, and we plug it in. And these let off a lot of heat, and those keep those babies warm. And I don't think I could ever go back to one of the metal ones. I just really like these and appreciate how well they give off heat and how safe they are. So we've talked a lot about our breeding goat herd, but like I said earlier in the video, we do raise several market wethers and market goats for showmen across our region and across our state. And out of those market goats, we do keep a couple for ourselves. So this is my market wether for this year. His name is Joey. And I'm just going to be talking a little bit about how much a market wether should eat and how much they should eat. So we like to feed our market wethers, of course near the beginning they're not going to eat as much, but near the middle and near the end they should be eating around 2 to 3 pounds of feed a day. and we like to feed a good high quality show feed, and there are tons to choose from out there. And we do exercise them and we work them every day, and we usually show them around July. Alright, so an important thing to remember when raising and showing market meat goats is that a lot of the time the judges like them to be braced. And the most and the best advice I can give to you on that is to start when they're young. And if you don't have the option to start when they're very young, like when they're babies and you're buying your market wethers, I would give you the advice to start as soon as you get them. Start training them as soon as you get them. Alright, so there are a couple different ways to brace your goat. I'm going to be showing you guys 2 different ways that I personally like to do it. So first off, you want to make sure that your goat is set up nicely. And if he is, you stick your hand between the horns and under the chin, and you stick your leg in that way. Or you can wrap your hands around the ears, put them up, and brace the same way. And that's about all there is to it. So we have talked about a few different things today. We've talked about getting our breeding does ready for breeding season. We've talked about kidding season, and we've talked a little bit about getting our market goats ready for show. Hopefully in the future I will have the privilege and the time to be able to talk to you guys about hoof trimming and giving more vaccinations and how to give SQ and IM injections and things like that. In the meantime, though, you can find a lot of those resources on YouTube and online. That's where I've learned a lot of things, is watching YouTube videos on how to trim hooves and give injections. And so that is a good place to look if you have any questions about that. Thank you guys so much for listening today. If you ever have any questions for me, you can find our farm page on Facebook. Again, we are called Evansview Farms. Just shoot me a message and I'll get right back with you. Thanks again so much, and now we will be hearing from Suzanne at Shepherd's Way Creamery on the value adding side of things.